Hey everybody, it is Jed, and welcome back to another Division video. And I think I have a little bit of explaining to do before I get into this video. A few videos ago, I promised I would make a video on gearing up, or multiple videos of just us gearing up and playing the update, and sure as shit, the file's corrupt, I can't use them now, and I can't go back and re-experience in 1.4. That was my first experience, that was my actual legitimate reactions, and I can't go back and redo that. So as much as I would have loved to, I can't. My computer said no, I can't make that video. I'm sorry guys. So me being terribly frustrated that I had just now lost all my footage, I just decided to steamroll through the world tiers. I think we got through all 4 world tiers in just under 2 hours. We just went into the dark zone, we cleared DZ06, we were playing it really smart, we knew where to be and when, what to extract at. I went in there with the mindset, yeah, I'm under geared, I'm gonna get ganked, there's nothing I can do about it, which did happen. I lost a few bags of loot, but it's frustrating, but I got back up and I just continuously farmed, whether that's switch servers or just switch checkpoints. We got it done and we got to 229 in about 2 hours. So again, I do apologize that I don't have any videos like that coming out. It would have been something I love to do, but it's just a little bit frustrating having your first legitimate reaction to the update just taken away from you. You can't make a video on it. But today, I want to talk about 1.4 and my first impressions on it, some stuff that I really enjoy and some stuff that I absolutely hate. So I think I'm going to start things off with the good list, and there's a lot of it. This might seem a little bit ridiculous, but the number one thing that I love about this update, at the top of my list, is the fact that triage and the OP heals were removed. And it seems like just a small little feature that was changed, but to me, it changes the game so much. It completely curves PvP around, and it essentially closes the gap between geared players and non-geared players. From what I've experienced with my completely unoptimized Predator Mark build, I am still able to completely outplay 2-3 people at a time, just simply because, you know, I know how to play video games. I really practice with aiming and just outplaying others in this game, and it's paying off because I can't just skill spam anymore with triage. I don't think skills are in their final state. I still think there's some major things that need to be changed before PvP is less cringy, but overall I'm a lot happier than it was in 1.3. But I think the next thing that affects the game the most is the world tier system. Some would argue that you get through the world tiers way too quickly, and coming from someone who got through it in just under 2 hours, I disagree. For the amount of content that exists in the game, I think you should get through the game relatively quickly. You don't want to sit at the same spot and grind the same stuff over and over and over. I think that's ultimately the reason I stopped playing Destiny, because I found myself playing content that I had been playing for the past 2 years just over and over to compete at in-game PvE or PvP, and I got tired of the tiny progress that I made to my character each time I did that same thing over and over. And for the amount of content that exists in the Division, I think it's a perfect balance for how quickly you can get to max gear and start building and start competing in PvE or PvP. The balance there is nice and I really do appreciate it. Now I feel like I have to mention this one because there's so many people that were looking forward to this, but I myself, I never really cared too much. But the NPC rescaling. If you know me, I always played in a lower dark zone. I always played in the 14 bracket where mobs usually took about 10 bullets to kill. And I gave up on the 30 bracket about when 1.3 was released, and NPC scaling wasn't terrible then. It was tolerable, but just sitting on the sidelines and watching how 1.3 PvE and PvP was, I could understand why people are so damn hyped about this. And it definitely is nice being able to solo DZ06. Next up, I want to talk about variety. In the first week of 1.4, I've encountered every single gear set except for Deadeye. I think the reasoning for that is because Deadeye only procs when you are scoped in and does not proc when you're shouldering your weapon. I think that's Deadeye's biggest flaw, and that's why it's getting absolutely zero love in 1.4. And that's not to say that someone out there is not running Deadeye, giving it a try, but I can guarantee you that they're not going to be as effective as someone who's running maybe Alpha Bridge or Predator's Mark. Next thing up that I absolutely love is the fact that PvE is rewarding. Back when I used to play the 30 bracket, I was a solo player. I did PvE completely solo, and that often led to me having to matchmake or just simply not play because in-game content was so damn difficult for solo players and there wasn't many sources of loot. But now PvE has been changed, completely overhauled into a place where you can solo it and you would get so much loot for it, and I love that change so much. And this next one I'm kind of on the fence about, and I think it's going to help me transition into the bad things of 1.4, and I'm talking about the PvP meta. I really appreciate what Massive was going for here. They wanted to balance everything out so it can compete with one another. But the thing is, they did that correctly, but shotguns are still king. They brought everything up so they can compete with shotguns more, but shotguns will always come out on top. And I'm not saying you're automatically going to lose if you go up against a shotgun. I know that not to be the case. I might have some gameplay coming out pretty soon to prove that's not the case, but it's still a huge concern of mine. I saw this coming from a mile away. This was the most predictable weapon balancing outcome I think I've ever seen, and that's simply because I am from the 14 bracket. I understand how these shotguns work. Massive tried their hardest to nerf everything that was contributing to the power of shotguns, but they never seemed to point the finger at the shotguns. And me coming from the 14 bracket where gear sets don't exist, maxed out pulses don't exist, and 75 armor mitigation does not exist, shotguns were unbelievably strong. Whether you pop skills or not, they were unbelievably strong. In most situations, almost every single situation, a shotgun would two-shot. And in a game like this where you can spend almost a half an hour collecting a bag of loot to extract and to get killed before you can even react makes absolutely no sense to me. And the thing that confuses me the most is, why was it specifically the 229 shotguns that got nerfed? There was not a single other shotgun in the game that got nerfed, meaning that every single other player playing their game in the dark zone on console with the M870 on their back wasn't taken into consideration when, what weapon do we need to nerf? I think when an overwhelming majority of people are all using one weapon, that weapon needs to be addressed, not a specific weapon that only a certain percentage of people have. And the good thing out of all of this is that they are aware that shotguns are still very overpowered on consoles. They addressed it multiple times now already within the past few days, and their defense for it was, we wanted to try something out, and obviously it wasn't enough. While it's nice to hear this, it's also painful to hear it at the same time, because I had been predicting this for so long. I know it's not the gear sets, I know it's not the pulses. Shotguns have way too much base damage. My suggested change to this is nerf the M870. They need to stop being careful and trying to please everybody because this weapon is overpowered, and anyone who would disagree with that would either rely on that weapon to get them kills or they would be a PC player. Now, believe it or not, there's actually only one other thing I can think of for the bad things of 1.4. And this wasn't an intentional change, this was on accident, obviously, it's just a technical bug, but it's the stuttering on Xbox. Now, some of you might not know this, but Xbox has a certain percentage of their processing power dedicated to the dashboard and other social features and stuff like that, meaning that an Xbox One does not have the type of processing power that a PS4 has, which is why PS4 does not deal with this problem. Now, this kind of makes me raise an eyebrow and wonder, how are they testing their console builds? Are they testing this on a PS4 and then porting it to Xbox One? Because if that was the case, that would be a very bad move. But who knows? Maybe they just don't do that much testing on Xbox and they didn't play long enough to find something like this. Because this definitely didn't happen on my first day. I had to play consistently for a few days before I even picked up on it. And to be completely honest, I'm really not even that worried about it. I'm more concerned about shotguns getting addressed before console lag even gets addressed. And I know a lot of people would disagree with that and say console lag needs to be addressed first. And my only reason for not agreeing with that is because I'm certain that it's really high priority for them. They're really working to fix it right now. And I'm confident we're going to see it pretty soon, but I have no clue if they're even going to change shotguns in their current state. And if they don't, and I have to wait till 1.5 to see a change to shotguns, I think I'm going to be done with this game. Not permanently, just until they get this shotgun shit figured out. But that's all I got for this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like if you did. I got some more videos coming out. I got build videos. I got funny moments. I got some PvP videos. I have some informational videos coming. I got it all. I actually have an upload of me waiting right now. I was playing 1.4, I was extremely salty, and I'm really hesitant if I even want to upload this because I don't like uploading content with a negative context to it. Just communicate that with me if you want to see something like that, whether that's leaving a comment or if this video does like really well with likes and dislikes. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, everybody.